Abdul Rahman ibn al-Harith ibn Hisham. And he is a tabi'i who heard from the Sahaba. In his narration, he doesn't point out which Sahabi, he can't remember. But because of his scholarship, his hadith is still accepted as sahih, even though he can't point out which Sahabi, as long as he pointed out that it was a Sahabi that told him this. And the theme that I'm covering within these short khawatir is descriptions of the Prophet ﷺ. Descriptions that I am picking out or choosing out of a hadith that are usually not used to describe him, but I think there's something in it that you'll find interesting. It's Rabi' al-Awwal, and it's always nice to hear about him ﷺ, and fill the hearts with his love ﷺ, and hopefully his fellowship. فقال, this is what he said, Abu Bakr, عن بعض أصحابنا قال أمر النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم الناس بالفطر يوم الفتح وصام وقال تقووا أو تقووا لعدوكم. So the Prophet ﷺ, on the day of Fath, when he was on his way to Fath Makkah, he told the Sahaba to break their fast. أمر الناس بالفطر, to break their fast, and he said, strengthen yourselves for your enemy, and he held on to his fast. قال فرأيت النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يصب على رأسه الماء في العرج من شدة الحر ومن شدة العطش. He said, in an area on the way from Medina to Mecca called Al-Arj, he said that you saw the Prophet ﷺ having someone pour water on his head because it was so hot and he was so thirsty as he was fasting. فقيل له يا رسول الله إن الناس لما علموا أنك صمت صاموا. People, when they figured out that you actually didn't break your fast, they didn't break their fast. قال فلما وصلنا الكديد, which is an area, when we arrived in an area, أمر النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم بالماء بقدح من الماء فأتي به فشرب فأفطر الناس. And then when he arrived to the Kadid, an area where he was able to get on a small hill, he asked for a qadah, a cup, a cup of water. And he was brought the cup of water, and he drank the cup of water in front of people, and he broke his fast, فَأَفْطَرَ النَّاسِ, and everyone broke their fast as well. So what's the point of, why am I telling you this? This is a prime example, and there are many, but this is a prime example of the standard he held himself to, alayhi salatu wasalam, they didn't hold others to. He held himself to a different standard than he held other people to. And if he was in a position where, because of his actions, others were going to be held to a higher standard, he would break it. Meaning if it was up to him, and it was just about him, he was going to fast. He was going to take the azimah. He was going to make the journey from Medina to Mecca and fast the whole time. Ma'lumak, you know that Al-Fatih Makkah happened in the 21st of Ramadan. So they left Medina sometime in the 10th or 14th of Ramadan, right? So they are very much within their rights as mujahideen, as Muslims, to break their fast and make up for it later during the winter months or any other time. So the Prophet ﷺ himself, he told them, break your fast. This is what you can do. You have the rukhsah and it's acceptable. But he himself wanted to hold his fast. But when he found that detail of him not breaking his fast caused people not to take the rukhsah and not to follow that which is easier for themselves, he went himself and broke his fast, not because he wanted to, but because he wanted people to follow him in doing that, alayhi salatu wasalam. So the complexity of this action is so important. First of all, it shows you how he sees his standard, alayhi salatu wasalam. And this is how it's supposed to be. This is how masajid and mashayikh and ulama and people who are religious have to see it. You hold yourself to the higher standard. You don't hold the other person to the higher standard. You don't hold the common Muslim or the common man to your standard. You hold yourself to that high standard. You give them the rukhsah. Give them the ease. When you come and ask me a question, I am searching for you for the rukhsah. I am looking what is the easiest answer Islamically to offer you. I may not even follow it. But I can't. It can't be the opposite. I can't be, when you ask me a question, I give you the most difficult answer, and then I take the rukhsah for myself so I can make my life easier. This is an ill relationship. The correct one is what he did, alayhi salatu wasalam, is he held himself to that high standard. And he held those who wanted to be held to a high standard with him. Like Abu Bakr and Umar and Uthman and Ali. The people who wanted to be held to a higher standard. Ya Rasulullah, don't treat us hold me to the higher standard. Hold me accountable when I don't meet your standard, Ya Rasulullah. And he did. Sometimes you'll find him holding Ali accountable in a way like, what? That we have to do that? No, you're not Ali. You want to be like Ali, then hold yourself to that standard. Otherwise, you don't have to. And he would not force the people to hold themselves to that standard. And when his behavior somehow influence them to be held to a standard that is not the one that they need to be held to, he would change his behavior. He wanted to fast, but now his fasting was causing other people to be held to a standard that's higher than what is needed. Then he would break his fast, alayhi salatu wasalam, so everyone follow him. Out of his rahmah, alayhi salatu wasalam, with his ummah. And that is how he was, alayhi salatu wasalam. You know, لولا أن أشق على أمتي لأمرتهم بالسواك مع كل صلاة. If it wasn't for the fact that I was going to make it difficult for you, I would have done siwak with every salah. Why? Because he's like, it's a standard I hold myself to. I don't want you to be held to it. So he wouldn't command it, and he would leave it out. And that's how he would do things. So as you become closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you want to follow the Prophet alayhi salam, hold yourself to a higher standard. Just be careful. This doesn't mean that you hold every other person around you to that standard. And you look down on them when they don't hold that standard. Or you think that you're better than them because you're holding a higher standard. No. You are just fortunate that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put in your heart the love of Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, and He gave you the opportunity to hold yourself to him, to his standard alayhi salatu wasalam. See it that way so that you can do it correctly. Otherwise, it can turn into something very toxic. And I find that to be, this aspect of his leadership alayhi salatu wasalam is phenomenal, because not a lot of people do it. Not a lot of leaders hold themselves to a standard that the other people don't hold them. No, most leaders become leaders because they want the ease. Because the leader can get first, and the leader will always be, everyone will move out of the way for him. He doesn't have to wait in line. No, not Rasulullah alayhi salam. He is the opposite of that. He held himself to the more difficult standard, and allowing everyone else to take the ease, and not holding them accountable for it, and not frowning upon them, and not condescending towards them. And if somehow they figured out that he was doing something different that was going to make their life difficult, he would leave his standard to make their lives easier. And that is the spirit of a true leader and a true role model. عليه الصلاة والسلام. يروي الإمام مالك في موطئه بسند صحيح عن أبي بكر بن عبد الرحمن بن الحارث بن هشام قال عن بعض أصحاب النبي صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم أنه لما خرجوا ليوم عام الفتح أمر الناس بالفطر وصام وقال تقووا لعدوكم. قال فرأيت النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم بالعرج يصب عليه الماء من شدة القيظ والحر والعطش فقيل له يا رسول الله إن الناس. You see, he was so thirsty, people had to pour water on him. That's how hard it was. He held him to that standard. فقيل له يا رسول الله إن الناس لما علموا أنك صمت صاموا فلما وصل الكديد أمر بقدح من الماء فأتي به فشرب فأفطر الناس. صدق رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. سبحانك وبحمدك لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك وعظم على نبينا وحبيبنا وقرة أعيننا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. جزاكم الله خير وبارك الله فيكم.